Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Bằng in Vietnam. I do have to say real quick that most likely I'm going to mispronounce some things because I don't speak Vietnamese. Doing my best with what I can tell from the internet telling me how to pronounce things, so just bear with me on that. I believe it's Bằng, this province here. This province. We are in the far north of Vietnam. This is the border with China up here. And it's along this border that we can find some really beautiful places, including right about here or so is the Ban waterfall. It is stunning. You saw it in the intro. Isn't it beautiful? Of course, we'll look at it on Google Earth. It is the fourth largest waterfall in the world that sits on an international border. So we have Iguazu, we have Victoria, and Niagara, and Ban right there. This landscape is absolutely stunning. I can't wait to show you on Google Earth. I've had such a wonderful time looking at this province on Google Earth and just finding so many beautiful sights to see. Gorgeous, gorgeous mountains, including one that's about right here, nicknamed the God's Eye Mountain, and I won't spoil why it's called that. You'll have to see on Google Earth, so stick around for that. I promise you it's worth it. There's also a beautiful lake district in this area around here. Some of the prettiest mountains I've seen in Southeast Asia. And lots of incredible caves, including one that's about right here that we'll talk about in history. Like right here. It's not designated on here. But we'll look at it on Google Earth too, of course. There are many different ethnic groups that live in this province. There are 9 ethnic minorities, including the Hmong, the Dai, the Nung, and many others. But some of those peoples had a very long legacy in this part of northern Vietnam. The Thai in particular had the Thai Ao Kingdom. That we're not quite sure how long they've been around, but there's definitely evidence of them having a kingdom in this area in the 3rd century BCE. I also read that many were pushed out of China during the Mongol invasions into this part of the world here, northern Vietnam. But during the 14th to 16th centuries CE, there is a very large back and forth between 2 major dynasties, and I'll probably mispronounce them, the Mak and the Lei. Power went back and forth between those two a lot until the Trin dynasty took over in 1592. The Daeson took over in 1787, and they were eventually defeated by the Nguyen in 1802. The Nguyen, of course, being the power that controlled pretty much all of Vietnam at the time of the French invasion. Which, of course, French colonized Southeast Asia here. They conquered the northern area here in 1884. And they actually apparently really loved the landscape here as well. They built lots of vacation homes and lodges out in the wilderness here, especially around the waterfall. But things would start changing, and not in the French's favor during the 20th century. In 1941, a man named Ho Chi Minh would cross the border from China into what's now Bằng province. Now, why did he have to do that? He was kicked out of the country in, I believe, 1911 by the French. He traveled the world, spent a lot of time in Paris, and spent that time dreaming up independence for Vietnam as a communist country. So by 1941, he had managed to get into China and snuck over the border and hid out in a cave here for, I think, about a week or so before his plot was uncovered. But that was really the beginning of the communist revolution in Vietnam. That was literally step one for Ho Chi Minh to eventually have control over Vietnam. Literally, as he crossed over step one, wasn't it? It's called Pak Bo Cave. It's really interesting. It's really beautiful, of course, but it is like a very important historical site in Vietnam. I imagine it's like Plymouth Rock in the US, or I guess like Battle in the UK, where the Battle of Hastings occurred, like where the modern version of this country began, right, is at that cave. So we'll look at, they put up like plaques. There's a little shrine area to Ho Chi Minh, and he even visited himself as a tourist in 1961, which is really interesting. A lot of Vietnamese people mainly go to visit that area as like to learn about history, and he got to do that himself, go back to his old cave. I think that's pretty neat. But let's jump back into history to the 1940s, as this province, or what is today this province, became the real heartland for the communist movement in Vietnam and the biggest place of French resistance pretty much at that time. War broke out after World War II between the Viet Minh and the French. They had a huge battle in Cao Bang in 1949, which the Viet Minh were successful and started to push the French out, which eventually the French would withdraw from Vietnam as communist influence spread. Of course, not involving this province, but I feel like everyone knows the conflicts of the 1960s into the 1970s between what became North Vietnam and South Vietnam. North Vietnam being successful, managed to take over the country, make it into a communist country. Also during the 1970s, a lot was happening down at its neighbor, Cambodia, down there. Vietnam would invade Cambodia due to the atrocities happening there. China retaliated. China was an ally of Cambodia because Cambodia was trying to become some super communist, like something even like beyond China's ideas of communism, which was devastating to the people living there. But China supported them, so they invaded Vietnam in 1979. They ransacked this area, almost flattened the entire town here, destroyed many parts of the cave that Ho Chi Minh hid out in. And thankfully that war did not last too terribly long because it was very devastating to this province. Speaking of devastation, which you know I don't like to do, but this is very important as of right now, as I'm filming this in 2025. It is October, and there has been some natural disasters occurring here, mainly in the form of tropical storms. In the past month, 4 tropical storms have hit northern Vietnam, and they're expecting another by the end of this month. Flooding has been rampant here in North Vietnam. Hanoi, just down here, is pretty badly flooded. The Cao Bang province is very badly flooded, which is very sad because I'm looking at all of these beautiful pictures now and trying not to think about how maybe a lot of those villages have been wiped away because many, many homes have been destroyed. A few lives have been lost. It's very devastating, and we hope that we've seen the worst of it and that northern Vietnam can start to recover and rebuild from that, because it's very horrifying right now. So our good thoughts to the people of North Vietnam right now, and that they prosper after this, right? No one deserves that. There's not a lot of infrastructures in this world that can handle 4 tropical storms almost back to back to back to back, right? And there might be another one next week, which, gosh, like, just chill out. Chill out, South China Sea. We don't need any more up here. It's wet enough. But that is the history of Kaobong province. Now let's get to Google Earth because I'm so excited to show you the beautiful, beautiful landscapes here. Let's go check it out. Here we are in Kaobong province, probably my new favorite area of Vietnam. Sorry to Ha Long Bay. I might like this place more. But let's zoom out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. There's Hanoi, the capital. They're in the Red River Delta. You can see all the mountains up here. Vietnam is, of course, in Southeast Asia, which is like roughly this area right here. This region, been known as Indochina. It's what the French called it during colonial times. It's not really used as often anymore, but if you hear anyone mention Indochina, that's what they're talking about. Mainly Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. Thailand's not really part of it because Thailand was never colonized. You can see China up here, southern China, all green and lush. So the South China Sea, the Sea of Tonkin, right? I almost say Gulf of Tonkin. It's the Sea of Tonkin. Don't know why I'm doubting myself. Right there, and there's Kaobong. Now, Google Earth updated since I last filmed, and it has some wonderful new features. But it's also kind of broken, mainly in this box here. See how it's not coming up? Sometimes it doesn't come up, and the only way to make it work is to just turn it off and on. So, that might be happening. Let's see what happens if I tap the village. Yep, it's already waking out. So I'm gonna go like this. I hope you don't mind. And just quickly turn it off and on. And watch this. Now it works great. Kaobong, let's all pictures of the waterfall. Not so much the actual town, right? You can see, let me see if the name of the river pops up. I didn't write it down. The main river flowing through here. I didn't really find much to look at in the actual town. You can see there's, looks like a memorial. I think that's, yeah, war memorial. It's already not working. So this is so annoying. It's made research aggravating. The war memorial right here. Very pointy, I guess. But yeah, pretty skyline there. Little pagoda. Little school by the looks of that there. Let me see if I can remember. I found some. I think it was up here. Yeah, Cao right here. Haha, I remembered. Mak was, oh my goodness. Mak was one of the dynasties I told you about. And this was a old temple that was destroyed during their many conflicts. At least what's left of it, right? Let's look. I can see a little tourist group looking at what's left of this temple. I believe it was a temple. Little wheel right there, sutra or something or other. Not positive, but pretty neat nonetheless. I'm sure important for the people who descend from those ethnicities, those dynasties, right? All right, let's go look at some natural beauty. Let's start over here. And if we zoom in, you can see the lake area I told you about. I think there's 36 lakes up in these mountains here. They're all little and cute. But well, you can already see the lumpy mountains in 3D. It's so pretty up here. It's so picturesque. I'll show you some other mountains in a bit, but this is where we're going to show you something real special. I believe it's this right here, but I think this is the best slideshow, which is, of course, not working. 1 second. This is so annoying. I'm so sorry. I hope it gets fixed very soon. Oh, that's the waterfall, but this is the God's Eye mountain. Look at that. How in the world did this happen? How did this form a perfect hole inside the mountain? There's the waterfall there, rushing down from the lakes. But yeah, isn't that stunning? That is an amazing mountain. We'll look at that in a second. I want to say, because there was a picture, and I believe it was this slideshow that I really liked. Let's see if it was. Oh, that's pretty. Of the rice, question mark? Corn, question mark? I can't tell. Look at the little horses there. Okay, maybe not this one, but look how pretty. This landscape is something else. It was a slideshow somewhere over here. Maybe it was this one. God's Eye Mountain. Let's see if it's in this one. Yeah, look at this. Wow. How did they time it so the sun was coming right through there? That's amazing. You can really see why it's called that in this image here. That is an incredible place, and if that was the only natural beauty here, I'd be happy, but it's not. Let me show you the new feature they added. They added a bunch of different layers, but look at this. I can pull up slideshows without even tapping on stuff. Look at that. Is very useful. That's pretty great. I'm happy about that one. That will be very helpful with research in the future, won't it? Let's go look at this stunning waterfall. If I can remember where it is. I can always pull up the photo, the little photo feature. Just look at these beautiful little rippling mountains here. Let me show you in 3D. I was watching people's motorcycle tours of this area, and it's just so unreal. These big lumpy mountains. Here it is. Right there. At least I think so. It's tagged. Oh no, it's not, because it's not on the border. That's not it at all. Oop. Let's go find it. Goodness. Bằng. And it's just north of here. I feel like I'm awfully close. There's a big mine right there. Let's see if this works. Photos. Here we go. Over here, there's the river. We're gonna cut all this. I'm not happy with this. I can't believe I lost the waterfall. The heck? Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, I had to type it in. The first time, because I practiced these videos, I lost the waterfall. I thought it was more over here. It is not. It is over here. The waterfall. Let's take a look. Or 1 second. Oh my gosh. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. This is the most aggravating thing. It's a neat feature, right? But absolutely annoying. Look at this. Oh my goodness. How is this real? That is just stunning. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful waterfalls. You can take little barges out. I know there's a lot more tours into these falls in China than for Vietnam, so I think that these boat tours are Chinese tours, but nevertheless, you can just pull on up to the waterfalls here and take it all in. Look how gorgeous. Absolutely amazing. I shouldn't probably pull that down. See, now it's stuck. I shouldn't pull that down. This is aggravating, you guys. I've tried everything I can to make it so I don't have to constantly turn this on and off, but here we are. Here's a scary cave. Ooh. Little light up bridge there so you can safely explore the scary cave. Oh, they've put pretty soft lights in it too. There's all kinds of caves here. Well, that's kind of neat actually. This isn't actually a scary cave at all. It's actually quite beautiful. Look at this, gorgeous. Isn't that loess? Isn't that what that type of rock is called? I know they have that kind all over China. Yummy. Oh my gosh, Vietnamese food sounds so good right now. There's an area nearby here. If I can remember where it is. Let me see this. That's another beautiful waterfall. Very pretty. Look at those. This place is just unreal. Let's see. Oh, this is it. This is it. This is called the Burned Hills. And that's because when it looks like this normally, but when autumn comes around, they look like this. They turn completely brown. Isn't that lovely? And then normally they're all green and lush and beautiful, and then they all turn kind of like the chocolate hills in the Philippines, it reminds me of. But yeah, it's a big like Instagram spot when for those few weeks out of the year all the hills turn brown. Oh my gosh, a puppy, sorry. This guy thinks it's a good Instagram spot, and so do these pups. Oh, there's my kitten crying. Trying to figure out where I went, even though I haven't moved since she last saw me. Let's find Ho Chi Minh's cave. Let's see if I can remember where that was. Right there, that was very easy. So, he named this Lenin Stream. Very appropriate. There's a big rock in here that he named Karl Marx. I'm not sure if there's a picture of it. But how anyone figured out that he was living in this random cave, I don't know. There must have been a traitor in his midst or something. Looks like some quotes throughout the cave. So yeah, you can go through and learn about his time living in a cave. Little area there that they've cordoned off. Looks like maybe he was cooking there. And then they have the shrine nearby. I'll show you. It's kind of interesting. Border built. Down here. It's interesting in that when I looked at it from above, I was like, oh, they've got a little like Buddhist shrine here or something like that. But it's not a Buddhist shrine. It is a Ho Chi Minh shrine. That's normally where a big golden Buddha would be, but instead it's a big golden Ho Chi Minh. Big steps leading up with little Vietnamese flower flags there. Pretty cool. And there's the cave. Oh, that's Karl Marx right there. There we go. I promise you, there was a rock there that he named Karl Marx. As one does, you know. There's lots of other little caves around here. Let's just look at a random one. Let's look at this one. Stream there. Yeah, look at these. Kind of eerie stalactites up there. A little clear stream. And yeah, this is where communist Vietnam began. Right up here in these hills. This was the very beginning of it, to the forming of Vietnam that we know today. It's very fascinating. Let's see some more beauty. A little bit more before we put away Google Earth. Of course, I highly encourage you to explore this area yourself. Let me know if you're having that Google Earth glitch too. Look at these beautiful hills. It's so cool. It's like rippling water in a stream. Let me know if you're having that glitch too, because I'm very annoyed about it and I don't like it. But they've added some pretty cool stuff. Not complaining about that, just wow, look at this tree. This is a special tree. I think I remember reading about this tree, but I don't remember why. Heritage tree. Oh, I don't remember. I feel like I looked up this tree, but I don't remember when I found out about it. But there's a big stick-looking tree right there. There's another waterfall, I see. Name's actually in English. Oh my goodness, isn't that pretty? Look at these mountains. Wow, look at that waterfall. Oh, so stunning. Oh, they're picking up garbage. That's nice. Keep all of these tourist areas clean. That's another thing I read about was, like, I was reading this tourist blog that was like, yeah, the locals just throw garbage on the ground. Like, that's so sad. And this place is so pristine and beautiful. Like, don't do that. You found a snail. Found some mushrooms. Found a scary cave. Yeah, this place is awesome. I've spent a long time going through this area and just finding the most incredible sights. It's all so beautiful. Let's see what this is. Oh, it actually worked. It's a big, beautiful rice field. Look at that. You can see the mountains in the background. Sorry if you can hear this low droning sound in the background. Our fridge decided that it makes that sound now as of yesterday. Only at night. And there's no way to stop it. So that's happening. Look how pretty. Look at the sunshine. Yeah, this area is something else. Oh, pretty rainbow. It is pretty much just beauty everywhere you look. Let's find one more slideshow to close this out. Let's look at, I think this one has more pictures of the God's Eye. Yeah. And some surrounding areas. Let's finish with this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. Look, he hiked up to the hole. That's amazing. Oh my goodness, look how stunning. That's amazing. Tomorrow, however, we're not going to have any Google Earth, as we're going to Luxembourg, and it's a very tiny corner of Luxembourg where I didn't find much to look at, kind of the opposite of this place. Oh, cute, they brought their teddy. But you'll have to see what I have in store for you instead of that. So be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, just like, look at that. I did not plan that. Look Look at these guys giving thumbs up. You do the same to make these guys happy. And let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Looks like this hole right here. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. Again, look at the thumbs up. Excellent. I can hear my sister messing with the fridge, trying to keep it down for me. I appreciate that. I hope you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good